Nice to be with you again. So this is a presentation of the Kia Arena down at Melbourne Park, a new public facility that's a 5,000 seat public arena, and we'll talk about that as we go through. It is literally, and I mean literally, I'm not sure whether you can see my arrow, but it is literally in the middle of the site. So it's between Rod Laver Arena and Hyacinth Arena, Melbourne Arena, John Cain Arena. So we were charged with designing a 5,000 seat public arena in the middle of the site, which was a slight challenge about what kind of architecture should we choose. So here you can see it in 3 dimensions. As I say, it is in the middle of the site. And we had a lot of conversations with government clients, stakeholders, enormous cooperation from the Office of Victorian Government Architects to make it realised. So this is something that we thought was incredibly important, and partly because a bit of self-indulgence, we did the Margaret Court Arena 10 years ago, which was the People's Public Court, and it became an arena. And so there was a decision by government. They needed an arena in the middle of the site that was what you would call public, a lot of fun. So yeah, just recently we had I think they're called the Special Ks, Kokonakis and Kyrios, won the doubles in the public space. So it was something that was really fun, and people have come back to Melbourne Park to enjoy the idea of being engaged in that process. So yeah, the brief for us was to create a court that was not an arena, quite significant, 5,000 seats. That's in global terms, that is quite a big arena. But this was supposed to be an arena that it was for the people. It was fun. You could kind of turn up and do stuff. So that was really the brief we got given. And to be honest, we quite enjoyed that brief because doing a building that's about fun is quite fun. But at the same time, given it's in the middle, literally in the middle of the site, we're also conscious of making sure it didn't compete with Rod Laver Arena, which is what you would call a large scale arena, and Hyacinth's John Cain Arena. They're both big arenas. This is a boutique arena at 5,000 seats. It sits somewhere in the middle. So we were conscious of trying to find an architecture that was both civically important, but didn't try and compete with the large scale arenas that were on either side of us. So it was, a little bit of a balancing act. Also, there was a lot of technical issues. So you can see here all the prototyping is done. The heat build-up in the upper stands, letting airflow in, letting airflow out. There's a lot of there's a lot of environmental information that we need to deal with. So to make the customer and the comfort of people, that's a lot of work. Yeah, I'm over that now. So in the end, we tried to find an elegant solution, which was, how do we create this 3-dimensional universal space? So no matter which direction you come from, if you come across the bridge from the MCG, you come across from Melbourne Park, you come across from Botanic Gardens, you come across this arena that is elegant and quiet. But it also had to be world class, because this is a venue that is required to match international standards. So really, there's a balance between the architecture conversation and incredibly stringent and forensic requirements. So that was our balance. So we tried to create, as I say, a world-class venue for the Australian Open that was sitting in the middle of the site, and we think kind of elegant. And also the requirement was, in the process of the stakeholder group, dealing with all the complex issues about creating a world-class environment. And it's interesting that our client team were interested in beauty, because they could see that on the television and on any of the platforms, digital, that was important. What you saw on your screen. There's 700,000 people come to the tournament every year, but there's somewhere between 900 million watch it remotely. So the idea of what it looks like on TV or on smartphones, digital, cable, etc., was a high priority to the stakeholder group. Another thing I think it's a small issue, but we are very proud of, is working with the CEO of Melbourne Park, who left a year or two ago. It's open, no gates. So if you want to walk down there at lunchtime with your dog and sit in the stands and have a sandwich, it's open. It's open, 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 which is a very radical thing for these major arenas. You can't go to the MCG, you can't go to Rod Laver Arena, you can't go to any other sports venue and go, I'm just going to walk in at lunchtime. So for us, that was a major moral victory that it's open all the time, literally. So that's part of the community conversation. It's a boutique stadium. It's community-based. It's going to have netball. It's going to have basketball. It's going to have concerts. It's going to have all the different things that occur in a community base. And at 5,000 seats, that is actually a pretty good, and I'm going to get commercial here a bit, but that's a very good space for Melbourne. At 5,000 seats, there's a lot of people who are interested in participating in that kind of venue. So that, yeah, for us, it's a win-win that we have a community venue with no doors. You can walk in. And in fact, my eldest brother did last week. Another thing that, to finish on, is really important is this is cutting-edge, world-class universal access. We've been very proud to work with Dylan and with a range of consultants, but this is the most world-class universal access stadium in the world, which I know is a bit of a bold claim, but it's true. So everything from the toilets to the access to the everything is universal access. So this is a bit of an envy of Flushing Meadows in New York, Roland Garros in Paris, even Wimbledon. This is the most leading universal access stadium in the world. So
40 seconds remaining.
So yeah, look, just to finish, actually this was a photo that one of our team took, which shows the return of the mullet haircut as being very popular. But I guess the brief we got was to create a stadium that was public. It was fun, you know. Come and cheer, bring your flags, have a good time. So really that's the brief we got, and we totally enjoyed it. So happy to take questions.